Hello, and welcome to the Commonwealth Financial Network June Market Update. My name is Brad McMillan. I'm Commonwealth's Chief Investment Officer. May was a good month. We had financial markets pretty much around the world rising. We saw strong gains here in the U.S. We actually saw new records for both the S&P and the NASDAQ here. Around the world, we saw emerging markets do very, very well indeed. But even better, we saw developed markets do well. We saw Europe do well. We saw Japan continue to stabilize. So overall, pretty much wherever you look, financial markets were saying things are good. And the question that we really have to ask is, why is that? And of course, is it likely to continue? Let's start here in the U.S. We've had a lot of political concerns recently. We've had a bunch of economic concerns. Particularly the first quarter was slow. Now, we've seen that for the past couple of years. People thought that probably it was temporary, but we really weren't sure. In May, we started to get the data that says, yes, it was a temporary slowdown. We saw jobs come back. We saw job growth bounce back significantly. We saw consumer spending come back. We saw consumer confidence remain high. In other words, people are willing and able to spend, and they are spending, which is a very good sign for the economy. Business investment continued to pick up. We've had positive business sentiment. Businesses have been feeling good, but they haven't actually been writing the checks to invest. They're starting to. In fact, they're starting to in a fairly big way. And this is very positive news going forward. So for the U.S. economy, despite all the concerns, things are actually pretty good and likely to get better. And even the Fed was on board with this. In the most recent minutes, they announced that they thought the slowdown was temporary in the first quarter and that things were likely to get better. And in fact, that cheered the markets up. It's not just here in the U.S. that we have good news. In Europe in particular, we've managed to dodge a number of political risks, and actually we're seeing economic growth pick up to the point that in many countries, it's faster than it is in the U.S. We're seeing risks elsewhere in the world. China is stabilizing. And because of all that, we're seeing a global economic upturn of the kind that we really haven't seen since the end of the crisis. So when we look at where we are and where we're likely to go, we have to realize that even though we had some concerns earlier, things are actually continuing to get better. And that's likely to continue. Now, that doesn't mean we're totally out of the woods. We certainly have risks. Politics is a big one. Internationally, the Italian election, probably before the end of the year, is something to keep an eye on. Here in the U.S., the next pending problem, potentially, is the debt ceiling debate. We will have concerns. We will have things to worry about. But at the same time, with the economy fundamentally remaining sound, with companies making more money as they go, and with the economies around the world all helping and reinforcing growth, things are very probably going to continue to do well. What will happen next month? We don't know, but right now the signs are good. And in any event, I'll talk with you about it next month. Thanks for watching.